Today I'm going to show you how I created a glamorous 1950s pinup-inspired photo shoot using 4 strobes, a DIY set and wardrobe, and Red Tartan Plaid as my inspiration. Happy holidays, everyone! I'm Kaya Munn, and I'm a portrait and fashion photographer based in Denver, Colorado. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how I DIY'd and created this luxurious 1950s vintage pinup-inspired photo shoot with a holiday theme. I'll show you my inspiration, how I DIY'd all of the things involved, and I'm also going to show you my lighting and the camera gear and settings used to bring this inspiration to life. I'm an entrepreneur, and for those of you who don't speak French, it means I'm broke and I have no creative team. So let me share with you how I found inspiration for this photo shoot, being a one-woman show. I was on vacation in the mountains and I went into a Christmas store. I was looking around at all the beautiful ornaments that I could not afford. And then there across the room, it just spoke to me. I saw the most beautiful tree topper. For my concept, I immediately pictured a gorgeous, glamorous 1950s vintage pinup look. And I knew that this tree topper was going to be the centerpiece for it. I wanted it to be a top hat. Now, if you've seen a tree topper, maybe you know there's not room for a head. So I had to attach clips so that she'd be able to attach it to her hair and wear it like that. I also knew I could have her just kind of hold it and pose with it. So this was going to be the focal point. How am I going to dress her? What kind of set am I going to create? To me, a 1950s vintage holiday theme, I closed my eyes and what I started picturing was a Christmas tree and presents and everything red, red on red, and looking at this beautiful red and green complementary color scheme and this rich tartan plaid, which, patterns were all the rage in the 1950s, especially for pinups. I thought this is going to be perfect. I just need a way to take this plaid and make it a through theme. So I wanted to make it a through theme on the costuming, on her wardrobe, and also for the set. So my next move was to decide how much plaid am I going to use. So what I did was I looked at all the varieties here. I saw these gorgeous red holly berries, the pine cones, the rich red velvets. I especially love the glitter that's on the hat, and I wanted to incorporate that. Now, I didn't want to buy a Christmas tree. That was out of my budget. So I took the family Christmas tree hostage. I really haven't told anyone. They're just going to get an epic Christmas tree as far as they're concerned. But for my purposes, I used an artificial tree that we already had, and I went out and I bought these incredible matching pattern Red Tartan Plaid bows. I already had some E6000 spray glue, and I just sprayed the bows, and then I purchased some craft glitter, just some clear glitter that emulated snowflakes, which is what they've used here, and I sprinkled that on top. I covered the Christmas tree in all of those bows, and then I looked at it and I thought, okay, what else can I do to bring in this hat into the whole theme? I looked at the berries, and so I ordered some red glitter holly berries and I added those to my tree. Of course I want ornaments. That's a part of the concept. I want her to look like a holiday card, like she's decorating the tree. So I bought some beautiful red, green, and plaid ornaments, all with touches of glitter and metallic sheen so that they'd pop a little bit off of the tree. So once I had that, I thought I just need to finish with the bottom of the tree. I bought a plaid tree skirt, and I took all of the Amazon boxes from these things that I was purchasing that were now empty. I taped them up, and I purchased plaid wrapping paper because I'm a little extra in case you weren't sure. So I didn't think they all needed to be the exact same plaid as this. I went ahead and got a variety of shades of plaid, and then I bought a really cheap roll of ribbon and I tied the presents with the ribbon. Now that ribbon was dual purposed because I didn't want to spend all the money to furnish the entire decor of the Christmas tree. You're only going to see the front, you're not going to see the back. So for the back, I took that ribbon and I just draped it across the back so that there would be some filler, but I'm not shooting from the back, so I don't need to invest that money there. So head to toe, I looked at this Christmas tree and the presents, and I thought that was perfect. Now I needed to create the perfect wardrobe for my 1950s pinup. So I started by purchasing a luxurious green velvet bodysuit. That bodysuit actually had a corset on the back, which also just kind of gave it an extra special feel. And I was able to find matching elbow-length green velvet gloves to go with it, which I absolutely loved. I did find a pair of black stockings with plaid bows. You guessed it, I glittered them. My E6000 glue and my glitter, so the bows would match the hat. And then I looked at the whole piece overall, head to toe, and I felt like something was missing. I just felt like I needed that extra element of a tie-in. So I did go back on Amazon and I found a corset, the exact same Red Tartan Plaid. I'm sure you can guess what I did. I sprayed that corset with E6000 glue and I glittered it with my snowflake looking glitter, and it was perfect. I put it on and that was definitely the missing piece. So sometimes you just need to keep going until, like, you'll know. Once you get the right amount, you just kind of step back and go, that's it. Because it was like a 1, 2, 3. I had 1 on the head, 2 on the waist, 3 on the thigh-high stockings, and that gave me a beautiful through line. I did consider adding some additional elements. I thought about plaid shoes. I was on Betsy Johnson's website and she had some amazing options. I also thought about jewelry. I thought some gorgeous earrings would be beautiful, or if I could find a really exceptional ring to put on top of the velvet gloves, I thought that would be wonderful. And then my budget called and reminded me that we're done and you have everything you need to pull off this amazing fashion shoot. But for those of you who might be looking to go even more luxurious, knock yourself out. Those are some great ideas that you can use. But for me, I felt like I had it perfectly the way that I wanted it. Now the next step is designing the absolute perfect lighting to really bring this to life. To bring everything together on set, I started with my Savage Seamless paper in primary red. It was absolutely perfect. My model popped off of the background, and who doesn't love red for a holiday themed photo shoot? So it was perfect. Now comes the lighting. I knew that I wanted dramatic, crisp, poppy lighting as my main light because I just wanted my model to jump off of the background. For that reason, I chose the Westcott Optical Spot as my main light. I used the 150 kit lens, which is a really precise circle of light, and I made it right on her face, just under her torso slightly, and also capturing a part of that gorgeous tree topper, which was now my top hat. I wanted to light the background with 2 Profoto small white umbrellas just to give it a kiss of light. I kept the power pretty low so that I could remain with that rich red saturation in color. Because the lighting was so dramatic on my model, I wanted to add a fill light and just gently lift the shadows. For that reason, I chose the Profoto deep white umbrella with diffusion, and it perfectly added just a little bit of control to the shadows and brightened up the whole scene overall. Let me show you what each one of these lights does individually. The main light, it just creates this wonderful, dramatic, almost spotlight look around the model's face, her upper torso, and part of the hat. And if you have an assistant, you can have them adjust it to be very precise with exactly where you want that light to be. The background lights, on each side, they're about a foot off of the backdrop. I put them on the lowest power just to give a nice kiss of color across a spread across the entire background. The fill light, the Profoto medium white deep umbrella, is added in just to lift the shadows gently. I kept it on a fairly low power because I wanted more drama, but I could have easily turned the power up if I wanted to brighten up the entire scene, or I could have even turned it down more just to make it even more dramatic. 4 lights is a lot of lights to use in your shoot. But in this case, every single light has a very important job. That main light's job is to be the drama, to be the pop, to really pop her out of the background so that you're focused on her and the beauty of this shot. The background lights, both of them are equally important to evenly distribute the light across the background just so there's a glow from behind the Christmas tree and from behind her. And that 4th light was critical to the scene so that it just lifts the shadows and gives an overall beautiful feel to my scene. If you only had 1 light, you could still do this. I would recommend a large, broad softbox, a large umbrella, or even an extra large umbrella depending on your space. So you certainly don't need 4 lights to accomplish this kind of a beautiful feel, but if you have 4 lights, there's a reason for everyone, and I highly recommend you try this out. Overall, using these 4 lights and choosing the modifiers that I did was to achieve the concept of the 1950s vintage glam pinup, because the hallmark of that lighting was really dramatic, poppy lighting with a soft fill. Or sometimes it was just an overall soft lighting source. But for me, I'm a drama queen, so why not go all the way? That's exactly why I chose the optical spot, the 2 background lights, and then a fill light. For my camera gear and settings, I chose my favorite go-to camera, my Canon R5 with the RF 70-200 2.8 lens. I absolutely love this lens because it's tack sharp, but in this case, I really wanted to shoot wide open and I wanted to keep my subject the focal point and kind of send most of what's on the Christmas tree just a little bit of bokeh and just kind of out of focus slightly. So that's why I chose the 70-200. Now I added a filter. I used my favorite Heliopan ND filter so that I could block some of the light. If you're like me, I'm shooting in a very small studio, so I can't turn the power of the light down more than I did for this particular shoot, which meant I had to find a way to take some of that light away. And I didn't want to increase my f-stop because I wanted to shoot wide open. That's why I chose my ND filter, which allowed me to shoot wide open at 2.8, but also cut the light so that I could just get a gorgeous, gorgeous shot. My settings were 1/200th of a second, f2.8, and ISO 200. Posing was the final piece of the puzzle. I wanted it to have that authentic 1950s vintage feel. And so I wanted her happy and joyful with really connected expressions. I wanted little flips of the leg, and I definitely wanted her to be able to interact with all these fabulous props that I'd created for it. So I had her putting ornaments on the tree, holding presents, and at one point I even had we took the Christmas tree off of the set so that she could just hold the presents and it'd be more about her. We actually removed my favorite top hat and I had made a headband with glitter that she put on instead, just so that we could have a little bit of variety. But really using those posing cues from the 1950s is what really helped to bring the entire concept to life, along with the lighting and the styling and the set that we had created. Let me know in the comments, which one did you like better? Did you like her on set with the Christmas tree, with all the presents? Or did you prefer a simpler set where you could really take in the red background and just her holding the presents? I'd love to hear what your opinion is. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the content and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe because I've got a lot more fashion-inspired photo shoots coming your way. Thanks, guys.